Sit thee down, beautiful listeners, and welcome to Men in Sheds, Episode 5.
Episode V, version V.
Version V, from within the Wagon-R.
The new shed.
Andrew's new Wagon-R.
Yeah.
In the new shed, coming at you from the lanes of the Staffordshire Moorlands.
Absolutely. We're on a mission.
Hurtling as we do.
We're on a mission for oatcakes.
Going for oatcakes.
None of that Scottish stuff.
There is a difference.
There is a difference.
A proper difference between that.
We're on Staffordshire oatcake run.
If you don't know what an oatcake is, an oatcake is like a pancake made of oats.
Yeah.
But not like a little biscuit like them Scottish.
No.
Because they're all wimps up there.
They're crazy. It's all that biscuits, shortbread biscuits, whatever.
Deep fried biscuits, whatever they have up there. So what we're going to do is first off.
Well, can we announce also that we are videoing this?
We are.
So at some point in the future, you'll be able to go onto YouTube and see, not us, but you'll be able to see the journey, which, might I say, starts right now. Sorry, podcasters, you can't see this, with the beautiful vista of Cheadle. One of the 3 towns of the Staffordshire Moorlands.
3 towns over the Moorlands, mentioned on the Magna Carta.
Oof.
Cheadle, historic market town.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. There you go. So,
go on.
Well, what we're going to do,
We're
going to open on is corrections, because we say a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That
it's quite frankly.
That's quite economic. It's quite, it's truth.
Economic with the truth.
It's truth with a bit of a sense of humour.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go over a few mistakes that we have made.
Rattle them off. I've got one in my head.
Well, the last one I made was I said that Citroens have got hydroscopic suspension.
I thought you were joking. I thought you were in the know and you were just having a laugh there.
Well, I'm admitting me failure on that one. Because hydroscopic, that's something that attracts water.
Yeah, which I imagine for suspension you don't want.
It is good. It's also not good if you're in the if you're making gunpowder, because potassium nitrate attracts water. It's hydroscopic.
Have you been Wikipedia in this?
You can get damper from the earlier days. That is earlier days. So also, I referred to the Mark III Escort RS 1600i as a Mark I Escort, and I'm always getting that one wrong, because the Mark I and Mark II Escort were well different, weren't they?
That's true, actually.
Well different from the Mark III. The Mark III were proper different. So I'm always calling them, because I get mixed up with Series 1, because the RS Turbo was Series 1. So that's my excuse on that one. And another one, the Citroen Diane. Yeah. And that wasn't the old it's the
DS, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's not, I don't think, because the Citroen Diane were the 2CV, right? Yeah. Later evolved, had 28 horsepower.
That's mad. It's madness, that is. Imagine being at the wheel of that powerful beast.
I mean, imagine the difference. Like, you've had a 2CV all that time. Your mates have got 2 CVs. Yeah. I mean, you're like, well, I'm going up. I'm going to get a Diane.
You're going to get a Diane, and all your mates are like, what are you on about?
That just screams of a 14-fold power increase, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I've got one.
You got another one?
Which is, I don't think, it's neither here nor there really, but in the spirit of corrections. So I said that Kai cars have got 65 brake horsepower. They have not got 65 brake horsepower. And as the words came out of my mouth, I thought, that's not right. It's around about 63. It's tricky. It's like 62, 63, because some people call it, it's PS rather than horsepower, and some it's brake horsepower, but it's around about 63, not 65. Ultimately, you're not going to light the world on fire with that extra 2 horsepower that I gave it in voice, but I
just like the way that your errors are of such minutiae compared to mine, which are completely fundamentally wrong. And I've just got one more, and that is the creaky seat on the last episode.
Creaky seat?
Apologise for me creaky seat.
Oh, well.
I was bouncing around all over. I was animated, I was.
If you're going to apologise for creaky seat, then I'm going to apologise for saying, every single sentence of that podcast.
We both say
I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Nothing wrong with that, And, there might be a lot of noise this time round, because we are in the little Wagon-R, and we hope that this is recording okay. We have, tried.
We've tried.
Well, we have.
But
So,
this is experimental.
what we are hoping to do is to sort of report in on Andrew's latest purchases. We are going to try and make a little video about that.
Yeah.
We're all making plans, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, this is a first trial of it, just a bit of a drive up to get oatcakes, and I suppose will we be discussing the wagon a little bit in the present?
I guess so. Yeah, we can do that. So what we're going to open with is from the past, and I thought this was a present thing, but it's from the past because I said, you got any ideas for another episode, and you just went Celicas. Shrug. What's going on?
What's going on? Shall I elucidate on this? Right. So, Celicas, right? So I think for you and I, we're of an age where Celicas, the first Celicas of our, in popular culture and kind of to our knowledge, would have been maybe, coming from forests of rallying, that shit.
Hankanen.
Yes.
RAC rally.
There you go, exactly. And actually, I think certainly for is it the ST185 and then the ST205, I could be wrong on that one. The earlier one, it's a bit dorky looking and it's a bit weird. And then the 205 one, the later one, that's the one that everyone does up with Castrol livery and goes proper like mad on it for modifying.
Yeah, I think like fourth generation onwards is a shape I'm familiar with.
Yeah, so I think like that. I mean, they were interesting, but I think when I were like shrug, I were talking really about the very last one that they now don't make anymore. The quite sharp front wheel drive coupe.
Yeah, and they haven't made it for 10 years.
Bloody hell, I didn't realise it was that long.
I think 2006 they stopped.
Yeah.
And what's really weird is like Toyota just does not have, like, apart from obviously the...
they may be trying with the GT86 a bit.
But they've got nothing else performance-wise.
No. And that kind of, I suppose it harks back to maybe what first drew me mind to it when we're talking about Capris and blue collar affordable coupes, because I think that was a proper affordable coupe, wasn't it? It might not have been the most dynamic, and maybe I'm answering my own question by saying it's not the most dynamically amazing, but I just think like in a way like my shrug is like, where's the love for it? I mean, they're everywhere. They've got like is it a 1.8 190 horsepower, something like that. Got your VVTi, get lift, yo. And I don't see any love for them really, and I'm confused as to why that is. Well, are they pants? But I think Toyota, I mean, it can't be pants, can it really?
Well, I think it's always been a bit of a ginger stepchild of the Toyota family, because I was looking through the history, and it's often been like quite a homogenous blob of a car, even the old version. Like the old liftback, sort of 80s liftback, they were quite cool, but only like they were oddball within the sleek world, and they kind of like went to these semi-American type things. And it wasn't until like the fourth generation that they actually got really quite interesting, and they had that rally prowess. I mean, they were leading the rallies. They won a lot of rallies.
They got that sneaky. They were cheating, weren't they, with that sneaky?
Were they?
Yeah. They got this really clever. It was the restrictor plate. I think it were in restrictor plate that restricted. They got this clever thing where it opened up under boost and leaked. So you got that proper clever.
That's good.
Wikipedia that, listeners, if you want it, because I might be completely wrong there.
Buggers. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think it were in Paris Dakar as well.
That's true. Yeah. It's like that famous like Africa rally, isn't it? With all the external cage and all that sort of. But I think oddball. You've got it. That's a good word for them, because I think even when they had that rally prowess, I think you wouldn't put them in the same boat as an Impreza or an Evo.
But they should have been.
But they should have been.
What I don't understand, because everyone went mad for four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
And everyone had got something, and everyone's like, Audi's got something, Ford have got something, even Volvo, and then you've got Toyota, and they're like got this brilliant platform that was like the sixth generation sleeker in particular. That's the one with the four round lights,
that's
good
the one,
looking car. And they just decided, well, where do we go from here? And they went, well, obviously we're front wheel drive coupe.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But that, I mean, I will definitely say that you're right to sort of pick up on that, and right to sort of ridicule them a little bit, because it was a definite change of tack there from this kind of beasting rally four-wheel drive machine to a quite sort of effeminate, pretty front-wheel drive coupe. But I think, yeah, when you said oddball, that definitely chimed with me. Like, they were oddball. And then that was the moment where they went, if they were ever going to go mainstream, that was the most mainstream one, wasn't it? You know, coupes were pretty in fashion sort of around, you know, when they came out still before. And I mean coupes in the traditional sense, not like a VW Scirocco is called a coupe, when actually it's just a slightly swoopy hatchback, you know.
Yeah.
They were proper, you know, fashionable, but like for modification and for, you know, for now, you just don't see them, do you? As like a, you know, no one does anything to them. You don't see them raced or rallied or whatever.
You don't.
I don't know.
And on reflection, I've never known a Celica person.
Exactly.
I've never known anyone in history, my car history, who's gone, I had a Celica, I wanted a Celica, I'm a Celica kind of person. And I find that a bit weird.
See, now that, you see, that's really interesting you say that, because that's where my thoughts went, you see. Is the problem that it's like the Toyota disease, which is, and I've that a little bit, like, I really quite like Toyotas, but I don't know whether I could have one.
You'd have a Land Cruiser though, wouldn't you?
I would, but I don't know if I'd have it first. I mean, I love the 80 series, but there's just something, it's almost like they're too good, you know, and too good to the point of maybe not having that silly word of soul, you know. It's that, I don't know.
You know what I think about Toyota, right?
Yeah.
It's like, they've never made a bonkers car.
No, exactly, yeah, maybe they're a bit safe.
They've never got a bit loose, have they? Never got a bit funky. And which is crazy, because they've made some of them cars that, when modified.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Supra is just, you know.
Like, Supra is like king of modified cars in some cultures.
Yeah.
Like, if you go and look at, you know, what they're doing in Texas down there, the highways down there, you know, 1,000 horsepower minimum, 200 mile an hour plus.
Yeah. And how old that platform technically is now, and that engine is,
and
really.
And it's a Supra, and you look at the Land Cruiser, and even as standard, well, I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but, you know, they were high spec anyway, but they weren't bonkers.
Yeah.
But you look at, like, Mitsubishi, what they did with the Shogun, the Shogun Pinin.
That's true,
and all that
the
kind
Evo,
of thing. The Evo, and all that, and obviously, you know, Nissan, proper bonkers.
Yeah.
Why would Toyota not play in that game?
That's true, yeah. I mean, that's it. They could have done it with any of the Celicas. I think maybe the GT4 Celicas, they dabbled, didn't they? Like you say, that era of in the rally era.
I quite like them. Now I've read about them.
Yeah.
Like, I would. They were like forgotten to me.
Yeah.
And you could have asked me like anything about them. I wouldn't have known a thing about them.
No.
But now,
do you worry if you had one, you might feel a little bit too bobble hattish?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a criticism. You know, you might be seen as a proper rally enthusiast, where actually you just, like you say, you just quite like the car, you know.
I think if I saw like the kind of 90s Celica that I grew up watching on Screen Sport.
Screen Sport?
Screen Sport back in the day.
Wowzers.
Yeah, back in the day you had Screen Sport, you had Eurosport on satellite.
Eurosport, yeah.
And Screen Sport, I think that was the one that actually broadcast a lot of the rally here.
Yeah.
And the RAC rally were a big deal back then. That was when you could get RAC rally for your PC.
Yeah.
And it snowed.
Yeah.
And you had to have windscreen
stages.
wipers.
And
your windscreen wipers could stop working, I think.
It was fantastic, that were.
I imagine quite often that I probably chose the Celica.
Yeah.
It was probably the one I was doing, because that's the only name I really remember from rally was you are kind of, and also Elaine Walker, but she were in Astra Mark 3, I think, whatever that one is.
And actually, I mean, you're right. The earlier one, not the 4 headlight one, but the pop-up headlight one.
Yeah.
I mean, you might say, you know, I said it were a bit staid, it were a bit, you know. But actually, if you look at that era Impreza, you know, we imagine, you know, we always see Imprezas as bewinged and splitters, but that one were proper vanilla Impreza, wasn't it? The ones that you could get in RAC rally game, they were plain as plain can be.
I think I had a friend who had a Mark 1 Impreza, and it wasn't till after he bought it that I sort of looked at the Impreza more closely, and I realised like just what a difference there was between the Mark 1 and the latest versions.
It were almost like the Mark 1 Impreza were almost like a legacy, really, wasn't it? A slightly smaller legacy. There was nothing exciting about it in that sense.
And what's really interesting is when you look at the cars closely, it's like they didn't actually make that many major tweaks. They just put like little bulges and lips and sort of tidied everything up. And the second generation is way nicer looking.
Yeah, that's
than
true.
The other ones.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of another error I've made previously.
Correction alert.
And I said that all Fiat 500s have got eyelashes.
Is it the facelift ones?
And I don't know.
I've spotted this since, and I had a look, and definitely the new ones have got them.
Have they? They've got them on the new ones.
Yeah,
and
but
that
maybe
leads
not the
me.
old
That
one.
leads me.
Yeah.
To something I've got to mention, because I saw it the other day, and I'm still having nightmares about this vision. You can get a Fiat 500 with a decal on the side of the original Fiat 500. So it's like...
no.
Yeah.
No.
Honestly,
No.
You know, like in World War II, you had them battleships with the
dazzle paint,
so you can't tell what they are.
Yeah, and which way they're moving.
It's like looking at a bloody magic eye picture. So what you've got is like a black Fiat 500 with this sort of grey schematic of the original 500, which lines up at the back wheel,
obviously,
but doesn't line up at the front wheel. So all it besides causing car crashes with everyone who's trying to work out what the hell is going on in
where's
front
it
of
moving,
and
where's it
looking
coming
awful and everything else, it also highlights that the Fiat 500, the new one, is actually considerably larger than the original, which I didn't realise it were that much bigger.
Oh, the original 5, that's it. You just you blend the two, don't you? And then you see an original 500. You think a Mini's small, and you see an original 500. It's like, well, how did you actually get the people in?
Yeah.
You know, are all Italians about 4 foot in the post-war world? You know, they want their legs chopped off.
And they sit about 7 to a car.
Yeah, exactly, as well.
I mean, that's the thing.
Unbelievable.
You've got all your kids in the back. So I just wanted to mention that, you know. But
can I also just, for podcast listeners, we are availing ourselves of a fantastic Staffordshire Moorlands view at the moment.
We are.
If you look at the YouTube version, you'll be seeing what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
How's that for an infomercial?
How's that?
How's that?
And of course, if you are watching the YouTube video, you're now encumbered by the fact that we're talking about what you actually already see.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, why? I'm not listening in via SoundCloud. Why do I have to put up with this nonsense?
Oh, we're neither here nor there.
I tell you what, there's, you know, these roads.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about, weren't we?
Yeah.
They are just amazing roads. You could run such a good rally stage on these roads.
Yeah.
They're absolutely something else.
I mean, you know, the wagon is not the prime candidate for a rolling roll. Although I will say, I think it's quite sporty.
It's doing well.
Although I am coming from a Jimny which rolls like a battleship. So
it's agricultural.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yes.
And it's like a proper little car. This.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how it works. But you know, the good thing, something I had forgotten about this area and driving is because it's all stone walls. So if you do crash, then well,
you don't make it to the field.
Well, you don't, but you kind of catch in. I think that's all right. That is.
Are you being caught?
Because, you know, lampposts and trees and all them, which they do have down the side of motorways. I mean, that's basically that's a meat grinder in a crash. True. And up here, you're all right.
You're all right. Yeah.
You could get unlucky. There is that.
So, to go back to the Celicas, because we're almost at our destination for where we shall avail ourselves of oatcakes.
Lovely.
Staffordshire oatcakes and a brew, obviously a brew.
Bonguston.
A what? A Bonguston. What's one of them?
Bonguston oatcakes.
Bonguston. So, Celicas, shrug. Have we made a decision?
I mean, I can't even really conclude. I think they should bring the Celicas Toyota. Yeah. Look at your portfolio right now, because you had a great 4x4 platform, and people want 4x4 cars, electric or not, because you got your electric technology.
Yeah.
Bring them back. Give us a Celica to be proud of.
If people are complaining that your 200 horsepower bespoke rear-wheel drive platform at 25 grand is too expensive, do a bit of jiggery pokery on the Auris platform or the Agov or whatever you want to do. You're very clever, and bring us Yeah, bring us a sub £20,000 Celica again. I think, you know, you can't...
Get on it.
Get on it.
Get on it.
Get on it.
And I tell you what, we've got a proper rant coming up for part 2,
Oh,
haven't we?
a rant
Proper
and a
rant.
half, lad. A rant and a half. Here we go.
Well,
it's time.
we're there now.
The oatcakes.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a bit, listeners and viewers and all.
Welcome back, beautiful listeners.
Hello.
We are full of oatcakes, and we just want you to hear one of the fantastic things that the Wagon-R does when you put it in reverse. It has a reversing beeper.
Not even an outside reversing
Nope.
beeper.
Nope.
Just an internal
But
beeper.
it would be
I don't know
so
why.
much better if it were an external reversing beeper on such a tiny little wagon. But we love that.
I think it would sound a bit, I don't know,
We love that.
disability wagon if we're not careful.
No one would believe it was standard, would it, if it were the case? Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh, there's a rant coming.
Yeah.
There's a rant coming.
Rant alert.
So, this is something that's
Go on.
angered us for a long time,
Go on.
in all fairness. So,
Speak truth, lads.
Speak
Speak
the
the truth.
well, I'm surprised we're doing this so early, but okay. So, the new MINI Countryman has been announced.
And actually, shall we say that this is very real anger and frustration, because we only found out about this very morning.
I know, I got an angry text about it. A petition writing anger, not letter writing anger, but the new form of British protest.
Are we down here?
We are.
are.
We're right. That's it, lad. We discussed this. First bloody turn. Bloody co-driver now.
It's not, I don't think it is.
Right, so
I think we got wrong already.
the new MINI Countryman
Yeah.
is massive. Is even more massive.
Not like Jungle, it's just massive.
It's not like Jungle. And MINI,
Mini.
their PR team, BMW, let's face it, the BMW,
Yeah.
they are proudly exclaiming their largest MINI yet.
Two thumbs up.
Which is like saying our most explosive fire extinguisher yet. I mean, it's that ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I ran the numbers.
Yeah.
I ran the numbers.
You did the datas.
I ran the numbers. It's hard to find the actual sizes of these things.
Yeah. No one wants to admit the sizing of these
But
things. That's why.
the new MINI Countryman
Yeah.
has a longer wheelbase
Yeah.
and is wider than
Yeah.
the original Range Rover.
Jesus.
That's how insanely big. That
That
where
is.
we've come from and gotten to.
That is ridiculous.
I mean, are we all just in on a joke? Is that what this is? That we're all just in on the same joke?
Yeah.
And we're all just kind of like, oh, well, you know, new minis, they're massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's
Lols.
lol. Because here's the thing, right, about the new Mini. I'll tell you this much. It's starting to look like, to me, a fat, depressed, middle-aged woman. The new Mini looks like that.
Is this where you segue into the consumer base for the MINI Countryman, or are you saying something about them as well?
Well, cars are getting bigger, cars are getting faster, and so are we.
Yeah.
But the new Mini, like the original new Mini, now looks so sprightly and perky and wide-eyed and
bushy-tailed.
Bushy-tailed, yeah. And the new one just looks like that Mini has just become so fed up of life.
Yeah.
It has just got bulgier and bulkier and it looks sadder. And the MINI Countryman, I don't even know what that's supposed to look like.
No, nobody knows. I mean, I always thought, like I said, as much, however you think about the Mark 1 Mini, the first gen of the new Mini, in corner of your eye, you'd think, oh, Mini, and then it was the new Mini. There was a bit of a change. And then the second gen, it looked like basically the same vehicle, but maybe just like it had put on a bit of weight, but it was trying to fit in the same clothes, and it were a bit puckered and it were a bit squishy. But overall, you could see it were bigger, but the Mark III, I mean, I'm still trying to block the Mark III out of my mind, to be honest, because it's just terrifying. And yeah, the Countryman were big enough. And the new Countryman, oh well. Shall I rant now?
Just go for it.
I have to say, I'm pretty sure we've turned wrong,
Don't give me anything left here.
We're going left here.
Yeah.
All right. I'll leave. Oh, yeah. So my thought is that MINI, the company, is a great example of. It's like a case study in the cynicism of German manufacturers, I would say. Because if you think about it now, you've got a company called MINI that don't make mini cars anymore.
Yeah.
With Audi, you've got Audi who love to bleat on about their Quattro range. And and the Quattro badge that was forged in the heat of Group B rallying and then buggered off and was never seen again. So, you're off the back of a badge that hasn't been seen in motorsport for like 30 years, And then BMW, purveyor of, as they would like you to think, pristine handling rear-wheel drive platforms, are currently, especially if you watch YouTube at the moment and you watch the ads, are pushing as hard as possible their new X-Drive platform.
Oh yeah.
Which is this perfect blend, this perfect rear drive platform now used to do a Me Too Audi kind of thing and be used for safe four-wheel drive.
Oh, it's more perfect now.
Well, it's more perfect because more wheels being driven.
More perfect than ever before.
And then, the rot has even set in things like AMG. AMG were like, they were the bastion of, well, let's just smoke some tyres like a badass. And now, new AMGs are going four-wheel drive as well. And you just think...
Oh, they hadn't known that.
Yeah. And you just think, what is going on here? What is going on? It's this cynical sort of, trading off history that's just long since gone. And however...
That brings up an interesting... I just interject.
No, carry on.
To add to your list. A couple of things that have struck me lately. Firstly, I saw a Schnitzer BMW, and,
Crikey.
The thing about Schnitzer BMWs in the past were that they just looked like a normal BMW.
Yeah.
But they had just the badge was changed. And then you're like, oh, and it had like a number.
Yeah.
Instead of
like Alpina do that kind of thing.
No, it were Alpina. I saw not Schnitzer.
Although AC Schnitzer did do some stuff.
It were an Alpina that I saw. And that where you saw an Alpina, and it were called like an Alpina 8 or something.
Or a B3 or a D5 or whatever,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just coughing up the oatcakes. So, anyway, how was I saying?
Yeah.
I saw like a new Alpina.
Yeah.
And you know how I knew it were Alpina?
Go on.
And a massive bloody F-off stripe down the side.
Saying Alpina.
They got even bigger at the bit that said Alpina on it. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, talk about, playing to the gallery.
Yeah.
Which is what they're doing. And also...
Yeah.
And I think everyone's seen this. I was coming to yours today, and I saw a Civic Type R harassing a BMW behind me.
Harassing?
And this BMW slowly came past me.
Yeah.
And it had an M badge on the side.
Yeah.
And it had M4 on the number plates, but
Yeah.
were a diesel. They had like 430D on the back of it. And I just don't know what to think
With
anymore.
the M pack, that's it.
Is that just the M pack?
As long as you have your M badges everywhere,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you've got a 2-litre diesel mid-range. No, it's like an S line, isn't it? And I think they're doing it with AMG as well. I think you can have like an AMG Light now. Mercedes AMG, I think it's called, rather than just
AMG.
Just AMG, yeah. That feels like it for me. I think, Countryman. I mean, are they going to make... now, the Countryman's got so big, are we going to have a country bumpkin underneath it that's like back to a slightly normal-sized SUV? I mean, I know SUVs are all range and all that sort of jazz, but I just think it's going a bit far, don't you?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's gone too far with them Germans. They'll do anything for the money.
Well, yeah, this is the problem I've got, really, is that it's, like I say, I have to go around in circles. It's cynical. It's just, I don't know. It's marketing, isn't it? It's marketing winning. You can market your car as anything. And I think what's a shame in some respects is I understand the reasons behind it maybe in this modern day and age. But, it's like Porsche. I mean, ultimately, you would say that Porsche is an SUV manufacturer that sometimes dabbles in sports cars. But the history would tell you otherwise, and the marketing would tell you otherwise. But I think if you looked at the stats and the sales, that's what they are. And I do understand that. But ultimately, it's like you read reviews of the Porsche Cayenne or the Porsche Macan. Squirrel! Watch out,
Get out! Go on, lad! Get outside! Oh,
cheeky little squirrel.
Lucky he was.
But if you look at Cayenne and Macan, and you read reviews and people talk about how Porsche have tried to make a sporty handling SUV, and from an engineering point of view, I get it. That's very impressive, but I go back once again to Jeff Goldblum's character in Jurassic Park when he says, just because they didn't stop to think whether they should. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, And I think, like I say, whilst a business case, yeah, you want to niche yourself up, don't you? Really, you want to get your niche on.
Well, I reckon that the BMW Design Lab, what they actually have is they have a picture of the latest 3 Series or 5 Series, and then what they've got is they've got pictures of all the best-selling cars out there.
Yeah.
Your small SUVs, your big Range Rovers,
a bit of an MPV or something. Yeah.
And then what they do is they just run a morphing program between the two. You know how you could back in the 90s, and they go about halfway, and they go, right, we'll build that, and we'll just make loads of money on that.
Can you? Right, so we've got a Vauxhall Zafira here.
Yeah.
Can you blend the front grille?
That's it.
Of the 3 Series onto that? We're done. Call it the 2 Series Active Tourer. That'll do.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a matter of time before all BMWs will just be classed as inbred.
Yeah.
Because they're just self-pollinating the whole bloody thing. No diversity whatsoever in the bloodline.
But do you think it's a shame that MINI, not just MINI has lost its way a little bit in terms of its hatchback, you might say. Like, as you say, it's a bit of a amorphous blob of a hatchback now. But might you also say that chasing that niche, make it, I've heard it said, that ultimately when you got your MINI, you have a family, you've got to go and buy a Nissan Qashqai or a Nissan Juke, and MINI wanted to stop people moving away from the brand to do that. So that's thus.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're right.
That's where the Countryman comes from. But do you think maybe that's a sad part? And do you think also, and this is my feeling, do you think that sometimes the whole, like with Porsche, Porsche wouldn't exist if the Cayenne didn't exist? Do you sometimes think that's a load of rubbish, or at least it's a bit of an urban myth? We've got to go down this way. Pigeon, you daft bat. We've got to go down this route. So almost be grateful for what you get. Yes, you've got an overly complicated 4-wheel drive 3 Series, but it could be much worse. Maybe it didn't have to be much worse. I don't know. I think it's an excuse. What do you think?
Well, I think that those that have bought into the brand absolutely bloody love it.
Yeah,
and I think
that's
it's
true.
Good times for them right now. If you want a BMW of any caliber, a Audi of any caliber, you just get it, and it doesn't matter. Pulling over,
always
pulling over.
I've got a big one.
He's not bloody playing games with us. This one is now.
It's like chicken, reverse chicken.
Squirrels. Pigeons, and now
Toyotas.
There you go. He had a good look at it. He was quite amused. Quite amused by what he saw.
I just wanted the beep for as long as possible, basically.
But I just think for those people, it's wonderful because it doesn't matter where you are in your life.
Yeah.
You can
have a BMW.
You get the lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you buy a new MINI straight off from the dealer, your first job. And
Yeah.
there's your Mini for that. And you've got kids coming. Oh well, now you better have a Mini Clubman. For
Yeah,
that,
the 5-door, or yeah.
And well, don't worry, got you covered. When you decided that you're actually quite a radical, sporty person as you approach your middle ages, you have an SUV as well. Don't worry about that. So we got you. And the thing about Mini,
sporty handling. Don't worry.
well, the thing about Mini is that they do try very hard to be quirky, don't they? And,
Yeah.
I think that the people that are into them, they really don't see that in any other brand. So
Yeah.
they really want that kind of, it's Mini, I'm innocent, I'm interesting, I'm quirky, I'm a bit different than the normal. It's like,
Look at me wearing my Crocs.
I mean, look at that bloody Mini Coupe, or whatever it's called.
Oh, the backward baseball cap abomination.
I
yeah.
mean, what is that all about? You couldn't do that with any other brand. Like, only Mini can come along and go, I'm so wacky. I'm just not for the normal mainstream here.
I'm a mainstream German manufacturer, but I'm not that mainstream.
But I'm a special snowflake. That's why I drive around in this. I mean, we can't criticise, can we? Drive around in bloody Japanese imported
This is true.
Wagon-R.
Did you know that the latest Cooper S, I think it is, you've got your random sport button. Look at that mist on the water there. Sorry, listeners.
Lovely mist that is.
And do you know it's got a little, because you have to have a dial now, don't you? You have to have your Eco and your Sport and your Sport. Only I think when you go in Sport Plus, a little thing comes up on the dash and it says maximum go-kart feel.
Oh,
that's quirky, that, isn't it?
well, there you go.
For pedaling in your Crocs.
And you can just imagine the grin on a owner's face when they do that, and they actually genuinely think for a second,
I'm go-karting me.
Go-kart for the road. And we will have Mini owners who had the first new Mini saying, like, well, they're nothing like the old new Mini.
That's true, we're not far off that now, are we?
That's how we've gone down a rabbit hole now.
But that's what I mean when I was talking about, the cynicism of as a case study. I mean, Mini's just like rattled through about 30 years of cynical marketing in 3 generations, hasn't it? It's been like, what is it, 10, 15 years tops. And it's just, remember thy heritage? Yeah, well, try not to remember that heritage when we're talking about the biggest Mini we've made ever. Hooray.
Yeah, and they say it with no
sense of irony at all.
No sense of irony, because they don't have any form of sense of humour. This is the closest they can get to a sense of humour.
Yeah.
Really.
It's making a massive Mini.
The Mini. And let's face it, what could be funnier than selling the most quintessential British car back to the British?
This is true.
When you are Germans, and just making it as ridiculous as possible.
Who won the war, really? Who won the war, really?
Yeah, exactly. I just wonder how far we're going to go. Yeah. You've come this way. You don't want to turn right out of here.
I'll be honest.
You're all right.
I'll be honest.
You're all right.
I've not really got a clue what I'm doing.
You're lost now.
I'm not lost. I know where we are.
Right.
We're not far from Alton Towers. We could go past Alton Towers if you like.
You've picked possibly the most dangerous.
We're all right.
Random fact about where we are. Bus went off the side of this.
Look at that.
Wheel spin. In an automatic 660. This is a hill. This is.
It's all right. Oh, look, there's plenty left in this. Look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, noise.
We're gonna go. Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
We've not got any more forward motion, but we've got a lot of noise. I'll tell you that. Where do you want to go now? Come on, tell me where you want to go.
I thought you knew the way.
Whoa, look at that.
Go up here, then. Right. Well, anyway, shall we change subject? Because we could rant about bloody Mini all day long.
I think we're being distracted by the route.
Go on. We had a 20-minute rant.
Have we? Right.
Oh, hello. Here we go. Okay, so not school time. It's time, isn't it? Not school time.
Not school.
So
point me in the direction.
Cynical Germans. You can go that way. Go left. Okay. Cynical Germans.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Maybach.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the MINI.
Yeah, the new MINI. That's a good one. The isn't there a famous boat with May in the name? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. Didn't America get discovered by something?
The Mayflower.
The Mayflower. Well, that's what Maybach now are, aren't they? Boat manufacturers. That's what they are. They have released their new concept, the Vision 6.
Oof, that's a catchy name, isn't
Visions. It is a new vision, not concept. It's a
vision.
And it's obscene, but in a good way.
Right. Hello.
In a good way, it's obscene. I quite like what's going on now, because we had that crazy Cadillac concept.
Oh, you're going that
driving around California with all its wood lining, and I think that was actually based on a boat.
Yeah, like a proper super yacht.
And that's what we're moving into. We're moving into an era, potentially, perhaps, of the super yacht car.
I think you're right.
So the Vision 6 is 18.5 foot, and it's funny how bothered people are by that half a foot.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I would have thought after 15 feet, you just kind of don't care anymore.
You've jumped it already. You've jumped the shark already. Never mind 6 inches here or there for now.
I didn't realise this, but the Rolls-Royce extended wheelbase and the Maybach, the full-length Maybach, are already 18 foot.
Right.
So as obscene as this looks...
Is it maybe more the proportions of it that make it look ridiculous, isn't it? Maybe?
It is, because it's like it's a 2+2 and everything else, and it looks spectacular.
The bonnet you could fit a king-size bed on and that kind of thing.
But, and to put it into perspective, 18.5 foot is around the size of a light truck. Because I was thinking, like, can you get away with living with a car of that length?
Yeah.
Like, how impractical does it become?
Yeah.
And, well, in sheer size in terms of what's on the road already, it's just like driving like a light truck. It's bigger than a Sprinter van.
Yeah.
But you think about where you can get a light truck, a delivery truck, and things like that.
I think length's not as bad as you think, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, 7.5 ton. It's actually not that bad. No. So, I know that the underground car parks.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a
spaces that posh hotels have created, and car washes, and God knows what else,
But maybe you could argue that's because people who are creating multi-storey car parks are still using the dimensions of the original Mini.
They are, definitely.
As like a standard family car.
Definitely, that's a whole other
rant, that one.
But I think about that. Then I was thinking, well, with autonomy, that might make a vehicle of that size quite livable with if you drive it. I mean, I don't, because that's the thing about this Vision 6.
Yeah.
That makes it different.
Yeah.
To this other stuff that Maybach do, because generally Maybachs and Rolls Royces are really designed for riding in the back.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
That's true.
Which actually brings up an interesting random point.
Okay, random fact.
Random fact. The leather seat was originally an option on the Rolls-Royce for only the chauffeur because it was harder wearing and velour was considered more luxurious.
I wish we'd go back to velour being... I'd love to see the latest, Rolls-Royce Silver Wraith with velour interior.
I mean, can you imagine buying your Rolls-Royce and they're like, do you have any special requests? They're like a DJ, are they? Do you have special requests? And you go, well, a velour interior.
Well, I've got this tracksuit, and I really like it.
And you imagine being laughed out of the room, but that's where it was.
Yeah.
And I think whenever you get in a 70s car, the first thing that strikes you is the velour is just bloody marvellous.
Exactly.
Because we could maybe due up a velour comeback.
I hope so.
But this Vision 6, it does seem like it's the concept that you would actually drive it.
Yeah.
Well, as much as you can drive
an 18.5 foot
in the future.
Yeah, that's true.
But I was thinking, like, with the autonomy, like, for instance, if you drive a truck, your sat nav, you can tell your sat nav how long your truck is, and it will specifically give you a route.
Oh, that's a bit smart.
It makes sense.
It does make sense. That does.
You've got like your height, your width, your weight, even stuff like that.
So it'll avoid bridges and that kind of. That's neat. That is.
Your sat nav can effectively do that. A haulier sat nav. So if you apply that concept to something like the Vision 6, where you say, well, I've got to get to A to B, but I am genuinely worried Like round here, like these lanes that we're driving on today.
Yeah.
An 8.5 footer would be hard work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with the kind of girth that goes with that these days. You know, they're not pencil type cars, are they?
And the fact that you sat about halfway down is the other issue. It's not
piloting the prow of the vehicle.
The helm. The helmsman of this vehicle.
Ding, 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 ding. Full speed ahead.
But I think a combination of autonomy for parking.
Yeah.
And for just manoeuvring the thing around,
yeah,
combined with the data that's already out there, I wonder, because I think we're going to see less cars on the road in the future. I mean, I know that the numbers are going up and whatever, but look at the stats. Fewer 17-year-olds are learning to drive.
Yeah,
it's going down all the time.
Yeah,
the kids they don't want to drive. It's too expensive, too hard. Okay,
can't do it with an app.
Autonomous cars, the big change to that is that a lot of people are going to realise that they don't need to own a car if you can summon a car. Like Uber and stuff like that's already changing that kind of thing.
And I think, like you say, it's only going to get more and more, like you say, as the autonomy comes in, you will summon a car. You summon a car with a driver, then they're changed to summon a car without a driver. Piece of cake,
which you can now do. I think it's in Chicago.
Yeah,
you can. I think it's free if you use Uber, and it uses one of the Volvo autonomous cars.
Right.
So you're going to get that, and then you're going to get this issue of not a go. So the roads might, particularly in cities, might be very quiet.
Yeah. Allowing you to pilot such a behemoth boot.
You got things like car. You park a car at the office. Your car goes and drives to where there's a charging station out of town.
Yeah, where there's space and where there's the ability to charge.
Yeah, so you don't need that. So if you are living in the new oligarch generation, which has been formed in America as of last week's news and everything else like that, then
they'll be everywhere over there.
Because this is a byproduct of inequality, isn't it? That's what this is. Like what we've found in the past 10 years. Is that austerity has led to the richest people becoming richer, and that's why we perceive life to be better at the moment.
Yeah,
like
because some people are living it.
Yeah, because our phones are getting smaller and stuff like that. Our broadband's getting faster. We're like, I can stream something off Netflix.
Yeah,
and, do 4K on my phone. Isn't life good? Well, actually, life's absolutely amazing if you've been the super rich for the past 10 years. In fact, you will have been the super rich for the past 10 years because you couldn't have lost any of your money.
No.
Because everything you had has gone up in value.
Yeah, exactly.
Dramatically. And it makes me wonder if fewer cars, autonomous cars, everything else, you could realistically cruise about a city and the suburb in an 18.5 foot literal land yacht.
Yes.
And I think it could happen.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's not as outlandish as you might at first think.
No, I could see that as a vision for the future, and I don't know. I mean, maybe you wouldn't have to even buy a car like that. Like you've got a lot of people now going to out clubbing and stuff. I know that down in Birmingham and stuff like that. Like you get a limo to the club. You know this. That's what the kids are doing.
That's what the kids are doing these days.
Well, they get. I've been talking to them when they let me, under supervision and all that.
Yeah.
And that's what, as I understand it, is you get drunk, you get ready, you get your new clothes that you're only going to wear that night, and you drink champagne, and
you call up your limo.
You call up a limo, and you cruise into the city. Well, maybe there's a market for these.
Yeah, autonomous. Yeah, then. But what happens when you're not got a driver to clean up the sick?
Well, that's a good point. Well, I guess your driver's now a cleaner.
Yeah, that may be it. Yeah,
that's the beauty.
Maybe we'll see more hose down autonomous vehicles for Friday and Saturday nights.
I think
out on the town.
Hose down probably has a double meaning in this case.
I think you're right.
If you look at New York City, for example, you had this industry of the taxi driver.
Yeah.
And back in the day, like you either got in a Crown Vic taxi, or you got in a Lincoln Town Car. That was how it was divvied up. And of course, They Ford own Lincoln now. I think they do, don't they? Mercury.
That sounds like that. I think they sounds about right.
Own Lincoln. Yeah, so they kind of dominated that market.
Yeah.
But that's changed radically now. Because
Yeah.
what you'll either get in is the new Ford Edge. Yeah, the new Ford Edge electric. You'll either get one of them, or you will get in a people carrier. I don't know what the people carrier is. Probably a Prius, something like that.
Yeah, isn't
Big
it
Prius.
Nissan, isn't it?
Could be a Nissan. But where the big change is now you won't get in a Lincoln town car.
Yeah.
You call a truck now.
Wow.
And they call it a truck. And the first time that happened to me,
Yeah.
and I'm like talking to the concierge, and he's like, "Oh, well, we'll just get a truck to take you down there." I'm like, "Well, you know, whatever's cheapest."
Yeah.
If I have to I've got a lot of luggage. We'll have to get back at small
off tunnel.
light wagon down to Penn Station. That's no problem at all. But what he meant was, of course, he meant like massive SUV.
Yeah.
So
proper.
So he called over, and it were a Suburban.
Wow.
And to just kind of picture, there's 6 of us,
Yeah.
all with our own luggage.
Yeah.
We got all the luggage in the trunk,
Like it, not the boots.
and
the
all
trunk.
6 of us sat
in luxury.
in luxury with the driver. 7 seats and
Wow.
room for 6 people's luggage. I mean, absolutely massive. And you don't realise until you see one of those Escalades or a Suburban
Yeah.
next to like something that's Discovery size.
Just a normal big car. Yeah.
They're
Still.
absolutely massive. So, and you imagine the cumulative effect in somewhere like New York City of adding all that extra size. Every single town car becomes
That's true.
a truck.
Yeah.
You know? And New York's doing just fine with it. It's not
Yeah.
a problem at all. If it can work there, it
Yeah.
can probably work most places.
Well, I remember, the comment's been made that Kai cars, just to bring it back to them.
Always
But-
back to Kai car. How the hell are we going from 18.5-foot land yachts? I'm looking forward to this segue.
Well, I think actually it were James May. Who were highlighting Kai cars. What's interesting about them, they're designed to combat congestion, all that sort of stuff. You can only have a Kai car if you don't have your own parking, blah blah blah. And the shortness of them, is supposed to help with, your traffic jams are shorter because your cars are shorter. But ultimately, they're all the same width, so you can't fit 2 cars in a lane. So really, the overall effect is quite minimal. And so I think, like you say, you can apply that the other way. If you're all driving pheasant. What is it with things jumping out in front of this vehicle?
Bloody staff's more than Safari.
Wait, look at that.
Was that pheasant taken off?
It was. It
Right
were
then.
over colour.
Well, that leads me on to random pheasant facts.
Hang on, can I finish my thing?
Oh, I'll save that, man.
Save your pheasant fact, lad. But no, just to say that, if Kai cars don't really eliminate traffic jams in their smallness, then surely it goes to say that an 18.5-foot Maybach will not cause traffic jams by its largeness.
If we all drove
If we all drove them.
20-footers around.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not, because you just leave a certain space, don't you?
Yeah,
That's about
that's-
it, really.
yeah,
You don't-
exactly.
You don't pull bumper to bumper with a car in front. No, not really.
And actually, as autonomous driving comes, that's it.
Actually,
it will be bumper to
well,
bumper.
it might make a difference.
So it might make it.
Actually,
it might
make a big difference.
Anyway, random pheasant fact. Go on.
Random pheasant fact, and I know this because a good friend of mine, a good friend of ours,
Yeah.
Ollie, received a second-hand pheasant
Right, hold on to your butts because we're going over a cattle grid here. Sports suspension.
in a K car.
There we go.
You'd think cattle grids would stop K cars, wouldn't you?
It fall through.
But Ollie received a second-hand pheasant to the windscreen of his Cavalier
dear.
SRI one.
Oh dear.
Cracked the whole thing, and I don't know why, but somehow we were looking at the local bylaws of
Pheasantry.
pheasantry and hunting.
another one.
And if you run over a pheasant, hit a pheasant, and kill it, you're not allowed to eat it.
But if you are the recipient of a second-hand pheasant,
Exactly.
such as our friend, our esteemed colleague,
Yeah.
you may avail yourself of said pheasant.
Every cloud has a silver lining. That silver lining may be an incoming corpse of a freshly punted pheasant.
Crap windscreen, but free pheasants. Think of it that way. Just think of it that way. Well, look at that. That's good timing, isn't it? As we finish up that. And
we don't live here, though.
Pull in. No, we don't. But pulling in, look at that, to Weaver Hill. Sorry, listeners, you can't look at that. But we could describe it to you. But then we'd annoy everybody in the podcast, in the video podcast.
It's a fine vista.
It is a fine
vista.
vista.
Is. And I wouldn't want to spend it in any other vehicle
than a majestic Kai car.
Yeah.
What is disappointing is what is disappointing is we used to be able to drive onto grass on this little Weaver Hill.
You still can. You're not seeing. They've knocked a post down.
Hey! Well, actually, I was looking at it. They've put posts in, but I think probably a Kai car could get through those posts anyway.
They're not thought of that. Shall we see?
Let's have a look.
Shall we see? No, just pull forward.
I'm not pulling.
Pull forward. I'll let you know.
No.
I'll let you know.
I can't do that.
Where are we going? Oh, there's easier guy.
Oh, that's a guy. There you go. Here we go. I tell you what, we'll light it up with me HIDs. With me proper.
And you've only got them because of the factory.
Exactly. I'm not a HID man, but shall we go through that? Do you think I'll get stuck?
You're not going to go through there in this land. Yeah, what do you think you're in, Jimny?
I just can't get. You want that?
Just
Why don't know where you want me to go?
All you got to do is turn 90 degrees.
Right, let's turn 90 degrees.
The poster's gone from that one.
Well, let's try this one first.
What are you doing now?
Let's try this one first. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. We're through.
Of course we are.
We're through. There we go. Try not to go down bubble.
I want to see if it will fit.
You want to see? Okay, right.
Come on.
We're in that one.
Back out, lad.
Back out.
Lad. Come on now.
Problem is, I haven't got my fancy mirror. I don't know I can't see.
Watch post on right.
Post.
There we go.
Right.
Right.
We're all right. Now.
What you're doing is you're going up here.
Okay.
And then...
Sorry, listeners. Try and describe it to listeners. You can't fit in there.
Well, that's what I want to see.
You can't fit in there. I were wrong.
No, you can.
I can't fit in there.
You can.
I'll tell you something else as well. I'm not doing it on camera or on audio.
You could
There's one there. Look at that. Look at that.
Go, pull up through this.
Go on. There we go. Look at that. I'm there.
You're going to eat your front spoiler.
There you go.
We're through.
We're
Look
through.
at that. Ah!
Magic.
Take that, the law. So there you go. There's your one advantage of having a K car.
Just parking
is
it
that you can... The bollards mean nothing to you.
Abandoning
nothing
it.
to you. You just drive between them. So there we go.
That's a fitting end.
We went through, for those who are listening, I've got a clue what's going on. We just drove between the bollards.
Between two slightly widely spaced bollards.
Because we are so slim in this car.
Exactly.
Right then.
Thanks for listening, listeners.
Cheerio.
Thanks for videoing video. No, that's not what it is it? Videoing videos. That's not how it works. But anyway, see you again.
See you.